Hello. I spent all this time doing clown makeup. I don't know if you can even see it. My camera's so bad. So one of my favorite things in the world besides Halloween is animatronics, and I especially love Halloween animatronics. I'm the person in the haunted house lagging behind because I'm trying to get a picture of the evil clown or whatever. So seeing as it's now officially Halloween, I wanted to talk about some cool animatronics that I like. I'm mostly going to be focusing on Spirit Halloween animatronics specifically for today, as they're probably the most commonly known and accessible, and most of the Halloween animatronics that I've personally seen or interacted with were at Spirit, so that's what I'm most familiar with. Some other cool companies I'd like to recommend checking out if you're into this kind of thing are Poison Props and the Horror Dome. I've seen a lot of the same animatronics on both their YouTube channels, so I'm not sure if it's the same company or one supplies for the other or what that's about. But they make some really cool stuff, like this big spooky puppet guy. And this really cool Grim Reaper thing.
Your time has come. Your soul is mine.
I'm pretty sure the Fright Walk here at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk used their Ceiling Dweller animatronic, which is this really freaky thing that just is on the ceiling there. I think they might also have made our werewolf too, but I've never really gotten a very close look at it. It's very alarming. A whole lot of theirs are also really gory. They're gross, I warned you, but they're really good, just, gross. And I also really like Distortions Unlimited, which makes professional theme park quality animatronics that are just really impressive and fun, like this massive monster hand, or, Anyway, so spirit animatronics are generally pretty simplistic. They don't usually have a huge range of movement. They're mostly designed for people setting up their own personal Halloween displays. So they're not really theme park quality animatronics, but they're still fun and are also on the more affordable end if you actually want to buy one of these. It's my personal dream to own one of these someday, but I don't currently have space for one or a justification to spend several $100s on a spooky robot clown. I love watching people interact with these. There's something so funny and interesting about human nature and watching someone see this thing that they know isn't real, that's not going to hurt you, but if you step on that button, it's going to do something scary. And we do it anyway and get scared anyway. I see little kids running up to these, activating them, and then just running away screaming for their lives and then immediately run back to do it again. There's something fun and exciting about being scared by something that you know won't actually hurt you. It never falls too far into that zone of am I actually in danger that it stops being fun. And that's what Halloween is all about to me. I'm actually more interested in the animatronics themselves than just getting scared by them, and in most walkthrough attractions you don't really get to see them very clearly. Those kinds of things mostly use the jump scare style animatronics where it's just like a thing that jumps out and screams at you, which definitely works, but it's just not really that interesting to me. It doesn't really take any thought or creativity to scare someone with a jump scare, just design literally anything that makes a sudden movement and a loud noise, and good job, you sure spooked them. Spirit has a lot of those too, but they have a lot of figures that don't actually jump out at you, they're just meant to kind of hang around and be scary. And the stores have them set up on display so you can actually see them up close. I also like spirit figures because while a lot of them are your standard zombies and jumping spiders, a lot of them are their own unique characters with a sense of personality to them. Some of them actually have, backstories. There's actually a whole Spirit Halloween wiki with all the current and previous animatronics they've had, which is where I found a lot of this information. And, on the page for Crouchy the Clown, for instance, there's this whole, Joker origin story for him. His description says, "There's no doubt that Crouchy has always been the scariest clown in the circus. He really never intended to be scary, it's just that his size and appearance was something that no one had ever seen before. After trying to change everyone's opinion about him, he got tired. He decided to embrace the horror by torturing children with his huge, sinister grin that showed off his bloody, dagger-like teeth. Legend has it that Crouchy still travels with the circus, so if you see him around, you better run. Fast. So we find out he was just like an ordinary clown who happened to look scary, and he got so disheartened with people always being afraid of him, he just decided to embrace it and become the nightmare clown everyone treated him as, which is kind of sad, actually. He just wanted to bring laughter to children. You made him this way. So the main categories of animatronics I want to talk about are clowns, my favorite category, if you hadn't noticed. Franchise characters like the classic slashers and others. Figures I think are just really interesting and creative. And bad animatronics I just don't like or don't really get. Here we go. Clowns are becoming more and more popular as Halloween monster figures, probably mostly due to the massive success of the movie It and various weird urban legends that have been popping up about clowns in the past few years. Spirit has a lot of clowns, and at my local store they've had a lot of them out on display. We've had Hugs the Clown, who is a really tall clown who jumps out like he's gonna get you if you come close. I personally love his color scheme. I don't know what it is about this one, but I've always really liked him. He has also appeared as both a costume and a doll, but I really feel like he works best as an animatronic. Crouchy the Clown, who I mentioned before. I hate how they named this one, but I always love seeing him in stores because he's just massive. He's this huge, towering monster clown thing, and they often put him up on a platform so he's even taller. So he's just looming menacingly over you, but he doesn't actually jump out at you. He's just there, laughing, generally having a good time. He's a nice guy. Fright in the Box, which is basically just a jump scare Jack in the Box, but I do like this one because the clown inside it just doesn't have any kind of body. He's a big spooky napkin. I like him. This one is also fun to watch in the stores because it's clearly a Jack in the Box, so you know what's going to happen when you activate it, and you can just see the growing dread on people's faces waiting for what's going to pop out at them. Even toy, like, non-Halloween Jack in the Boxes, okay. They're designed to be startling even as a toy. It's baby's first jump scare. Then, of course, we have Pennywise, who I'll talk about in the franchise characters section. And then there's some really cool clowns I've seen online but have not had the opportunity to see in person, like this thing, this whatever that is. It's called Cuddles the Clown, and I am obsessed with this thing. It looks like a clown made of nightmares and snakes. His fingers are more clowns! I really, really want to see this thing in person because I can't even, like, visualize it existing in physical space even after watching videos of it. I can't think of any other spirit animatronic that I just cannot get my head around like this. Like, maybe it looks less insane in person, I don't know. This one's just called Tug of War, which features two clowns fighting over a screaming child like a teddy bear, and they actually have some really interesting faces. Like, this one kind of gives off some Jigsaw vibes, and this one's just so bizarre and interesting. I can't think of any other clown character I've ever seen that looked like this. So they're these really interesting looking clowns, but they also just don't move very fast, which is probably just a technical limitation. Most spirit animatronics aren't very fast, but it really doesn't come across very violent, so to me it just kind of gives the impression that they're really just trying to play but are very bad at it, which is kind of endearing somehow. Like, they're trying their best, guys. Then this year we had my new favorite clowns, Henry and Harriet Hustle, introduced, which are great just from a design perspective. I think they look really good. And we finally have our first female clown character. I also just really love Henry because he does this.
And you may lose your wife.
I don't know what that was, but I love it. Apparently, according to their descriptions, Henry is actually Harriet's father, and his wife ran off with the ringmaster. So we have a single father evil clown working hard to try to raise his evil daughter clown, and it's really cute, actually. And the last clown for now. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's the music or why this is so funny to me, but I want this one. I would have this in my living room just all year and everyone would hate me for it. I love this category. I'm always so excited to see these, even if they're not always the best quality. They actually have a lot more of them than I ever realized. They've got most of the major slasher characters, I think. Their old Freddy Krueger was one of the first ones I ever remember seeing. They also somehow have Boris Karloff's Frankenstein, but not Bela Lugosi's Dracula, which is honestly just a tragedy. If they ever came out with a Renfield, I would cry. And they're not all scary ones either. They also have this super cute Jack and Sally, and okay, I haven't seen this movie, so I assume he's probably not as cute as he looks, but I like this little guy anyway. They also have this new Beetlejuice one this year, which, kinda looks like a deer caught in the headlights there, to be honest, but they have a really cool Pennywise animatronic that they had set up in the store here for the past few years, although last year's was broken and unfortunately didn't function, but it's still a really impressive figure even when it's stationary, except the kind of sad balloon. Now, I don't know if all of them do this by design or if it was just a glitch in the display figure we had at my local store, but when we had a functional Pennywise here, there was just enough of a delay between activating the pad and him actually going off that I would see people walking up to him, convincing themselves he's not working, and then he pops up and scares them half to death when they least expect it. It was so funny. They also came out with a smaller Pennywise this year that has him popping up out of the sewer pipe, which is pretty cool. And they do have one for the original Tim Curry Pennywise as well, though I've never seen this one myself. He does look pretty cursed, though. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my turtle just, like, digging in his rocks, being distracting in the background. Sorry about that. One of the most interesting spirit animatronics I've ever seen in person was this Krampus figure that we had here last year. I don't actually know much of anything about Krampus as a character, and I don't really know what this kind of animatronic would be for. Like, do people make Christmas-themed haunts? I'd love to see it if you've ever seen one. But this figure is really big and imposing. This is one of the few spirit animatronics I've seen that legitimately is unsettling to look at and be in the same space with, which personally is my favorite kind. Like, anyone could design a zombie that screams or a ghost that pops up at you, but when something makes you feel nervous to stand near it, even if it doesn't move, I think that's way more of an accomplishment. Another one of these is Miss Mercy, which, it doesn't scream, it doesn't jump scare you, it just does this. I don't like looking at that. We have Nightcrawler, which I don't know what's going on there, but I'm a big fan. This year they introduced this ghost called W. Wraith, which is really just a ghost, but it's like the best ghost I have ever seen. This is another one I would legitimately want if I could afford it. And also Grim, who is just a skeleton really, but he moves really nicely and is just cool to look at. One of my other favorite categories of animatronic are the ones that do something just completely unexpected and totally throw you off. Like, we've all seen enough of these now that it doesn't really surprise us anymore when the zombie starts screaming and flailing, but if it does something like,
"Come a little closer, I just want to hug you." Don't worry,
I won't bite.
The first time I saw her, I had no idea her face would just do that. That's also one of the reasons I like Henry Hustle so much, the clown with the head from before. I also just want to mention one from Poison Props called The Host, because it's one of my favorite examples of the unexpected category. As kind of an aside, I also wanted to mention the single most expensive spirit animatronic I have ever seen, which is this Bigfoot for like $1,300. I don't know why he's so expensive. It's not clear what he's actually supposed to do, but the only video that seems to exist of him is... Is he that expensive because he's legitimately haunted?
He did the monster mash. The monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. He did the mash.
I could only find a couple of these I thought were actually bad enough to mention, but we have Wheelchair Granny. I don't even know what to say here, just look at her.
Who are you? What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. You need to leave this instant.
What is that? Why does she do that? Ghost Girl, which is an inflatable animatronic. And finally, the single most hated Spirit Halloween prop of all time, as far as I can tell. I have to talk about Johnny Punk.
I've been waiting for you to come out and play. What took you so long? Who you calling a clown? You don't know who you're messing with.
I never really liked this one just because he's so uninteresting. He doesn't really do anything, he doesn't look that great, and his backstory just says, Johnny's bad. There's no good reason, no story about a broken home or a deadbeat dad. He's got a nice house, loving parents, and a severe attitude problem. You can usually find him swinging at the local playground and making all the kids and their parents a bit worried about what happens when Johnny decides to get up from that swing. But don't worry, his bark is worse than his bite. For now. Like, this isn't an undead child back for revenge against those who wronged him or a crazed circus runaway or anything. He's just, like, a bratty kid. He's like a 13-year-old who just saw Joker and has decided to make it his entire personality. I glanced at the comments for him, and it turns out absolutely everyone hates him, which is completely hilarious to me. Like, he's in everyone's worst Spirit Halloween animatronics compilations. It's so funny. Spirit Halloween made a big mistake. Johnny Punk? More like Johnny Flunk. Johnny Punk is the rawest prop of all time. I hope he will never returns to stores ever again. I hope Johnny Punk is online only. Okay, I've been talking about this for way too long, so I'm gonna close this out with the single scariest Spirit Halloween animatronic I have ever seen. I don't know how to prepare you for this, so I'm just gonna show you. Okay, that's all I have for now. Let me know in the comments what your favorite or least favorite animatronics are, where you've seen them used, haunt attractions you've seen, or anything else about Halloween animatronics, clowns. See ya. I am reading my lines terribly today. Ugh. I'm gonna start that line again. I think they might have... Ugh. Good. Ugh. And I am not reading my script very well today. Hold on. Oh my god. I am not doing very well with these. Okay. See people walk... Yeah. That was a terrible line reading, whatever. There's another one I would legitimately want if I could afford it. I am reading these way too fast. Hold on. My camera just completely stopped working for like 10 minutes and I didn't notice.